Then the next part is to remove the rest of the delusional ideas, raga, dvesha, and moha through meditation. So we understood that meditation is not what we understand in usual life or in other practices. This meditation is quite different, and this meditation can be and should be performed throughout the day, throughout the lifespan. If you want to attain nibbana very easily and in the short period of time. So that's what we understood. So if you have any questions regarding up to the point we discussed up until now, you can ask, or otherwise we can continue and discuss what is and how to practice Dhamma, and how should we practice this meditation called Satara Satipatthana, which is the easiest and the only way to attain Nibbana, which originally explains the Samma Sati, which is a component of eightfold pathway or Arya-Atthangika Magga. So in that pathway, the Samma Sati means we can give a simple translation as being mindful, but not just being mindful, but being mindful about what is right and what is wrong according to the reality, or according to the Buddha Dhamma. So that's the idea. So if you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, we can continue with the Satara Satipatthana.
As Thero said, if you have any questions, feel free to either ask directly or kindly put it into the chat. We'll give you a little time, and then if not, as Thero said, we will proceed with the Satara Satipatthana explanation.
So it seems like you are not having any questions. So we'll continue. And at the end of the discussion, if you have any questions, you can ask. So we understood that this pathway develops our wisdom, or Arya-Atthangika Magga develops our wisdom. So when the wisdom is developing, the wrong ideas and wrong things that we did is going to reduce, or they will be removed or reduced in our lives. And we will, because of that, since these delusional ideas and delusional things that we did actually did not contribute to increase the blissfulness, but increase the suffering. Now the suffering part of our life is gradually decreasing, and you will be able to feel it. That is called the Sandittika or Sandittika quality, nature of Dhamma. So you can feel it while you are moving along the pathway to Nibbana. You can feel that you are following the correct pathway, your sufferings are getting reduced, and you are experiencing Nibbana, a relative Nibbana, not the full Nibbana which is attained at the end of the pathway, which is attained by the Arihat, but you will relatively experience that these things are not in my life now. These kind of sufferings are not in my life. I am not bound to these kinds of suffering activities. Because of that, I feel a relative Nibbana, or I feel actually a freedom, independence, a very calm and quiet life. So I'm experiencing that, and it's very blissful. So since there are no sufferings, so that's the idea. So when the eightfold pathway or the Ariyatanga Magga is followed, what we do is, I think we explained in the last session as well. So when you understand, I think, as I remember, we explained that analogy where someone is used to, addicted to biting nails, and this person is lectured by some person who knows that this is not a valuable or a blissful thing to do, and he says that this is not a good thing to do. This you should stop this addiction. You should somehow get out of this addiction. And why is that? Because it's not good for your status, it's not good for your health, and it's not nice, and you are now a grown person and you should not bite nails. That would be the argument. And this young person would understand that, and he would say, yes, I understand, and I would, from today onwards, I would stop doing this. But this is a habit which the person has grown over a period of time, or a long period of time. So it is not possible to stop it in one go. So what would happen in the practical life is, he would be watching TV, watching or doing other things, and his hand will automatically or unknowingly move to his mouth, and he will start biting nails. So that's what happens when you have a big addiction. So the moment he realizes that he is doing this, then only he can get rid of it. But if he practices, if he always try to stop it, when he realizes that he is doing it, then gradually that habit will start to fade away. And finally, after some time, he would be able to get rid of that habit, that wrong habit. So the same principle applies in the Eightfold Pathway. So we have different kinds of habit that does not align with the pathway we are going to practice, or the view we are now bearing. So that view, so according to that view, so what we are doing right now, or will be doing in the future, is not right. It's wrong. So when that is understood or detected with your mindfulness, initially it would take time. It would take few minutes to identify that you are doing this wrong thing. But if you practice on doing that, and if you, as soon as you realize that you are doing something that you are not supposed to do, when referring to the pathway, so when you stop it right there with the right knowledge, with the right wisdom, that why you should stop it, then that would start to grow. That mindfulness would start to grow. So this mindfulness or samma sati, it's better if we can if we can remember the Pali terms, because Pali, when you are using Pali, since mindfulness or any other English word can have different meanings, you would be stuck in the meaning that you think that it is, think that the meaning is. So when you stuck in a meaning, so you would not be able to change it in case if you have understood it in a wrong manner. But if you have the Pali term in your mind, the Pali terminology, it's a very new terminology or a very new word for you. So you would be your mind actually would be it would give a chance for the word, the meaning of the word, to grow in your mind with what you accumulates over the time with these discussions. So you would be able to grasp the perfect meaning of the word eventually. So let's call it Samma Sati. So Samma Sati has 4 parts, which is Kaya Anupassana, Vedana Anupassana, Chitta Anupassana, and Dhamma Anupassana. So we'll try to understand these terms one by one and how they help to get rid of the gratifications and the attachments we have towards these sensual pleasures. So this is a way of thinking. So as soon as we were trapped, or we were what do you call we get these wrong ideas, what we do is we follow Kaya Anupassana or Vedana Anupassana or the other two. So Kaya Anupassana, in Kaya Anupassana, Kaya means a combination or a group. So a combination. So for example, we are a combination of various things. We are not a thing that cannot be what you call divided into parts. We can be divided into parts. Our body is a combination of various organs, and these various organs are a combination of various cells, and these various cells are a combination of various molecules, and this goes on. So this is a very complex structure where many things have combined to form. Our mind is also like that. Our mind is also a combination of feeling. So what gives the feeling? Touch gives the feeling. When light is touched by our retina or our eye, we feel light, or we are able to see. And when the sound touches the ear, then we are able to hear. And this happens for all the 6 organs, for nose, tongue, body, and also the mind. When thoughts hit the mind, only you will be able to think, or you feel like you get ideas. So that's how it works. So this, when something, so when the external items or external things gets collided with the internal organs, what we experience is feeling or Vedana. So with Vedana, now see a dead person also have eyes, ears, and all the 5 items up until body. So even though we pinch the dead body with a pin or something, that dead body won't be able to get feeling. So there's something other than just collision. So that is called in our mind. So we are talking now about the metaphysical aspect or the world. So in the metaphysical world, there's another component where these inputs are taken and created, or it is created into a mental copy. So let's say you are listening to this voice, and in your head you have a mental copy of that voice. You can refer it anytime you want, until you forget it. Otherwise, you can say you can remind your parents or mother's face. So now you're not seeing your mother. You're not the light reflected from your mother's face is not falling onto your retina, or you're not seeing, you are physically not seeing her face right now. But if you are if you close your eyes, or even without closing your eyes, if you are asked to remember her face, you would be able to, at least to some extent. So that's a mental picture. So what happens is, with the external image, it's like a photocopy machine. So you have the original and you create a photocopy, or you create a copy of that, and that is metaphysical. So for that, you need activity, you need processing, and this is called sankhara. So without processing, no feeling, just like a dead body. So this Vedana, and then again there's Sanya, and then again Sankhara, and again Vijnana. So these are the four parts that we have, that we are comprised of as a person or a living being with a mind. So a living being with a mind, and what is the difference between a living being and a dead body? Dead body has that rupa, or the image, or the physical body, but there's no component which we refer to as mind. So mind is totally metaphysical. So it's not from the physical world where we can see. Basically, we cannot experience the mind through the five senses. That's why it's called the mind. So you need another organ to experience the thoughts, and these thoughts are also cannot be experienced by the other organs. So see that the other five organs works in collaboration. So if you see something, let's say you are seeing a speaker and it's vibrating, you see the vibration, and in the 3D space, when you move towards that vibration, the sound increases. So you have a collaboration. So when you are moving towards that speaker, the size of the speaker increases. So it feels like it's coming from a certain point, and if you touch it, you feel it. So these five senses work in a collaboration. So you see it. It's not like you are seeing the vibration of the speaker in one place and you are hearing from behind, where when the speaker is in front of you, you are hearing from behind, and when you touch it, you see the you feel the vibration in some other place. It's not like that. They work in a collaboration. So when you touch it, you feel that vibration in the same spot where you see it and where you hear it. So it complements all the five items of the five senses. So but the mind is very different. You cannot detect the mind or the thoughts. So that's totally away, or it's totally different, and it's totally from the metaphysical world. So that has Vedana, we discussed. So after Vedana, when Vedana occurs, or when a feeling occurs, immediately you understand what is the feeling. It's always there. With that, let's say you are seeing your mother's face. So you saw her with your eyes, and the mental without just seeing with your eyes doesn't make you the ability of seeing is still not there. Just it's just made the physical eye. That's not that happens with the dead body as well. So what happens is you create a mental copy, and then only you are able to feel. So feeling, creating, or sankhara, vedana happens at the same time, but they are different. They have different functions. So vedana, then sankhara, and that creation itself, you will be able to, when that creation happens in your mind, you will, without a delay, you would be able to recognize that this person is your mother. So that's sanya. Sanya is the identification. You would be able to identify what is that. So it's whether it's an image, whether it's a sound, whether it's a smell, whether it's a taste, whether it's a touch, you would be able to recognize. And again, in the component of touch, you would be able to feel whether it's a rough touch, whether it's a smooth touch, whether whether it has increased heat, or whether it's cold, whether it's hot. You would be able to experience, and that's also identification falls under sanya. So if it's a sight, if you're seeing something, then you would be able to recognize whether it's a person, whether it's an object, and whether it's blue color, red color, and what's the shape of the color. Everything falls under identification of sanya. So you have feeling, and along with feeling, you would be able to hear it, identify it. Then that is sanya, and then that all happened because of the creation or the processing of the inputs that were given or taken in through the five senses. That is called sankara. Without processing, nothing, no consciousness. And the consciousness is the last part, that is vinyana. So you are conscious about this, and that's also does not happen if you won't be able to be conscious if no feeling happens. That means no collision of the external and internal organ happens. There's no consciousness. Say you are blind, and you have your mother in front of you. You have no consciousness about your mother, because you cannot. For you have, if you lose one of the four components, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana, nothing will be created. All the four either arises at the same time or does not arise at all. So they work in combination, and they are the parts that creates our mind. So you can divide into four parts. So now that we were able to identify what a living being is, it is not just human. It's all the living beings we can see, that we cannot see, and the primary beings, or the beings that are living in four hells. The hell we can see, which is the animal world. So in each and every living being, this is the composition, which is Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana. Rupa is the physical part, or the body, and so it comprises of eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body. And the other part is Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana. Without a Rupa, there's no Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana. So we are just not referring to the physical or the what you call hard and the bodies that we have. So there are beings that we cannot see, which has smooth, fine bodies. So these creatures have fine bodies, like deities. They also have bodies that falls under Rupa. So the Nama, or the other part, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana, creates the Nama part, or the metaphysical part, where we are able to form, where we are able to understand and comprehend and give or have the feelings, have the consciousness and everything. So this is why it is called Kaya, or a combination. So everything is a combination. So that's what we are going to see. And we are giving value to a combination, which is a very delusional thing to do. And you would understand why after understanding what Kaya Anupassana is. So let's say you like your son or a daughter. So you have a child and you like the child. So when you like the child, and we are just taking inputs from three or four or all the five senses. Let's say all the five senses. You see the person, you hear his voice, you smell the person, you can smell him or her, your child, and let's say you can feel the person, you can touch him. So those are the mainly four inputs that you can get from this outside object, which is your child. So based on, let's say, let's take the first two, eyes and ears. So based on these inputs, you gave so much value to your child. But now we are going to, now this is a combination of various things. Your child is that person has a body. So you are seeing the body, you are hearing the voice. That's all. You cannot experience his thoughts, experience whether he has a mind or not. Let's say there's an identical robot which doesn't have a mind that mimics your child. You cannot identify that person from the child, that robot from the child. It's 100% identical from the eyes and from the voice. So you would get tricked from the robot, and you would get the same value and the feeling which you had for your child for that robot. If you don't, if you are not said that this is not your son and this is just a robot, just a copy of your child. So we are only getting input from these two organs, which is eyes and ears. So with that input, we gave so much value to that object, to that person. So let's say the person, and we are just going to divide that person into its basic form, basic components, or the building blocks. So let's say that person, so the word is comprised of Apo, Tejo, Vayo, and Patavi. So these are the four components. Apo means in simple terms, we can say Apo is water, Tejo is fire, Patavi is the earth or the hardness, and Apo, Tejo, Vayo means the air. So these are the four basic components which created this person. So it has a deeper meaning than that. So whether we refer to that to make it very simple, actually Patavi means hardness. So that's when the hardness is more and more, what you get is earth, or the hard nature. So when the hard nature is more, so you have this, when an object is formed in the physical world, you have combinations of these four. If the vayo or the airiness, air, is more, then so we call it gaseous nature. So when we are able to very easily understand the property of vayo through gas. So gas is able to what do you call fold, or it has a very good ability to change its shape. So that's why. So ability to fold into different shapes. So then when that is to its maximum, you see gas. When hardness is to its maximum, you see elements which are creating the earth. When apo, or the stickiness, apo means the attaching nature. When that is more, you see water. So water attaches. It gets wrapped around your arm or your hand when you put your hand into a bucket of water. So it has a stickiness to it. So when that is more, you get liquid water. And what happens when you freeze it? The vayo, or the gaseous, the nature, or the folding, or the changing shape, nature of water is reduced, and the hardness of the water is increased. So you get ice. So that's apo. And there's tejo. Tejo is the energy, or we call it fire. So that's when the energy is more and more, you get fire. You get that's what happens when a atomic bomb is blasted. So what you get is fire. It's a blast. When energy increases, it comes as a blast of fire. So when the energy content is increased in water, what happens is it's the attachments, or the apo nature is reduced, and its gaseous nature, or the what do you call, the vayo nature, increases along with tejo. So when you change the combination, you get different types of elements, different types of objects that you can deal with. So our body is also, you can move your body because of the vayo nature. Your body, the parts of your body are attached to each other because of the apo nature. Otherwise, you'd start, the parts of your body would start falling off because of your apo nature. It's very well held together, just like a very minute amount of mercury, where they very well stick together without getting shattered. So it has the apo nature and vayo nature, and also the tejo nature. You can feel your hand or your body, and you can feel that there's warmth because of the tejo nature. And you have the hardness. That's why you are able to feel your body. So those are the 4 components that creates. Now you can divide it to any parts, any kind of a classification you want. This is only just one classification. You can just divide your body into 32 parts, as described in Satara Satipatthana Sutra. So in that, you divide eyes, ears, nose, tongue, liver, lungs, and heart. Like that, you divide this body into 32 parts. Skin and bladder, likewise, it is divided. So the aim is to divide it into a set of components where you don't feel attached to. So the logic is, when you don't feel, you don't get attached to the original building blocks of it, why would you get attached to the combination of it? So you see you see the trick, or the, what do you call, the mirage. So it's like you being constantly getting tricked by a magician. So a magician performs art or magic, and you always get baffled, and you always get amused by his performance, and you are always he is always making a fool out of it. what happens. So if an intelligent person or a person who knows magic tells you this is how it is done and explains you how the person tricks you or deviates your concentration to other places so that he can do what he is doing under our nose. So when that is being revealed, then the value given to that trick is 0. Oh, I also know this. This is done like this, and there's no magic in this. You would immediately your immediate reaction would be like that. So that's what happens when you do Kaya Anupassana as well. So let's say you have Apo, Tejo, Vayo, Patavi in soil, in our earth. It's embedded in our earth. So, and we'll go from us being a, what you called a zygote. So we were a zygote at some point of our life. In the early beginning, we were just a cell, individual cell. And our mothers, what they did was they took food for 2 people so that they can feed us. So that we can grow inside the mother's womb. So what happens is, so how did food got Apo, Tejo, Vayo, Patavi? So we are eating Apo, Tejo, Vayo, Patavi. So how did food got Apo, Tejo, Vayo, Patavi? From the animals or from the trees or plants. So initially it was it's originally coming from the environment or earth. So we took, the mother took the food and it was absorbed, Apo, Tejo, Vayo, Patavi, and then the womb is creating actually the zygote is changing its shape, changing its number of cells, and changing its composition to become a fetus. And this fetus, after 9 to 10 months, would be born as a newborn infant. So when that infant is born, the person or the small baby would be fed with food. Again, just like the mother, we would be eating. And we would be taking Apo, Tejo, Vayu, Patavi, and some of it would be absorbed, creating our body, and the other rest would be removed from our body as feces. So with this process, we have a body and it has grown to that status that we are having right now. So we are having a body like that. So let's say we like our body. We are attached to our body more than anything in the world. Body and mind. That's where our weakness is. We are attached to it so much. So when you divide it, it's just Apo, Tejo, Vayo, Patavi. And we get the Apo part, which is in our body, and we'll take some Apo from the outside world. And we'll just compare the two. You feel that it's the same. You cannot say a difference because after death, Apo will move to Apo, the watery part will move to the watery part of the earth, the solid part will move to the solid part, and the temperature or the heat energy would be transferred to the environment. So the heat also will be gone, and the gaseous part also would be joining with the gaseous part of the earth or the atmosphere. So all the 4 parts would be separated, and you would not be able to identify that this is my gaseous part. I died, and this is my Apo part, Tejo part, Patavi part. No, there's nothing like that. So when you take your apo part in your body and the apo, a chunk of apo from, or the water from the environment, and when you compare the two, you cannot tell a difference. It's just the same. It looks alike. You cannot say that it's yours, the part you had. Same with the Tejo, Patavi, and Vayu. So for all the four elements, the fire, earth, water, and gas, you cannot say that they have more value than what you have in the environment. So it's the same. But the delusion comes when they combine together to form our body. So now it's very valuable. So that's the point we are going to always touch and always try to emphasize with this kind of a meditation. All when you feel like you have a valuable body and a mind, then we'll come to the mind later. So initially we will be focusing on the body. So when you feel like you have a very important body, or it's very valuable, and you are stuck in that thought, you would think like this, and that would go away, and you would understand how foolish am I to think like this. So that would remove your moha, or the delusional part, from your mind. So we just took an example, which is our body. So we can apply it to anything. So let's say you like, so we applied it to actually the child of yours. So child is also like that. No difference from another child, or no difference from what you are seeing in the environment. Just a different composition of Apo, Tejo, Vayu, Patavi. Because you cannot feel the mind through your eyes or ears. So that's the difference. So, but you have a very, very high or a big attachment or a bond with your child, which will always eventually that can give you suffering, because it doesn't matter when the other person's child is gone or doesn't listen to you, or something happens to that child, or admitted to the hospital because of an accident. You don't feel that much of a pain. You would be empathetic, but what will happen if that happens to your child? The four elements, then that would be a great problem. Then that would be devastating for you. So that's what we should understand. So that's how we practice Kaya Anupassana. So we get different things that we like. We like food, we like clothes, we like houses, vehicles, and different things, and all made of Apo, Tejo, Vayu, Patavi. And what's the difference? And why we are always getting trapped with that delusion? When you practice it, when you practice this meditation over time, you would develop a samadhi, or a state of concentration, or what we explain what samadhi is. So when you develop that samadhi, it would be very easy to think like that and get rid of the suffering. You think like that, and you have to develop it. It takes a little bit of time to do that, but when you practice it, you would be able to get rid of the suffering you have in your life. So that's Kaya Anupassana for your body. So now we have Vedana Anupassana. So you can apply to body and any part. So for another example, let's say you are attached to a certain kind of a food, and this is also a combination of different things. You have to add salt, pepper, and the item, and you have to heat it and have the composition of the food in the right amounts. If the salt amount is high, not delicious. If the salt amount is less, not delicious. If the amount of chili or the pepper or something put into the mix is wrong, then you would not get a delicious food. So it's a combination of everything. So when you take chili and just eat it, not delicious. If you take a pinch of salt and eat it, not delicious. So only the combination gave the delusional view, and you are attached to that delusional view, and you are continue to get trapped in the deliciousness of that food, which is opening a whole new world of suffering for you, because now you have to go after it. So smell, same principle. Sound, same principle. You would not be able to enjoy just a bass drum. You have to add a little bit of violin, add a little bit of guitar, add a little bit of voice. And when everything is mixed in such a way that it feels like good, then the mirage is there. Then that's a valuable piece of music. But actually, in the real world, it's just various kinds of sounds mixed together. And if there's something actually valuable, so now you have to think with wisdom, not with your feeling. So if something valuable is inside that music, you'd be able to grab it when you divide it. So let's say, for an example, you have a box full of coins and you have a gold coin in it. So because of that, you just open the box of coins, and you see just regular coins, very cheap coins that we use in day-to-day life. But when you ask from the person who is going to sell this box of coins to you, it's extremely expensive. And he says, this is expensive because it has value. Because it's actually valuable. So now what you are going to do is, you are going to take one coin by one by one, and observe or do an experiment, or you would go through the coins, and you would go and finally what you would see is, you see a big gold coin, which is very, very valuable. And you would see, this is why this box of coins cost this much. This is why this is very valuable. I understand that now. So likewise, if you give value to an item or image, sound, taste, touch, anything, or a smell, you would be able to divide it and identify the precious part. This is an analogy. So to make it easy for you to understand. So that's how the Kaya Anupassana happens. So you apply Kaya Anupassana when you get raga, when you get attached to things, when the attachment is more, and the amount of suffering because of that is increased. So you can get rid of the suffering using this method. So the next item, or the next way of seeing, is Vedana Anupassana. So in Vedana Anupassana, Vedana means feeling. So we are focusing on the feeling. So different people works with different these tools. These are actually tools that we use to complete our pathway. So some would prefer Vedana Kaya Anupassana for some things, not for everything. And some would prefer Vedana Anupassana or Kaya Anupassana, and that would be his mainstream weapon. But in some instances, he would also would use Kaya Anupassana as well. It's not, there's no hard and fast rule. You would use what you feel that is more effective. So Vedana, in Vedananupassana, so Vedana, when Vedana occurs, or when does the feeling occurs? When there is touch, then comes the feeling. So what is touch? Eyes and images. They touch and you are able to see. And this goes on for all the 6 organs. So eyes and images, ears and sounds, nose and smells, tongue and tastes, body and touches, and also mind and thoughts. So when they get collided together, you experience a sense of feeling. And this feeling is actually happens at the moment. Again, that means it happens in the moment. So for example, so let's say you stroke some person's head. So that is felt as somebody stroking. The perception of the person you are doing that is someone is stroking my head, and it's actually a cause and effect theory. So for a fraction of touch, you get a fraction of feeling. It's not that it's a what do you call it is felt as one big stroke. No, it is combined in your mind. So more than the touch, we are able to experience it very easily with sound. Let's say you hear the word mother, or let's say there are 2 parts, ma and the. Let's say there are 2 parts, so ma and the. So when the sound ma comes to your eardrum, it starts vibrating. And if the also comes at that point, then the vibrating eardrum will get another vibration, so that both vibrations will merge together to give a distorted sound. Now you wouldn't be able to hear ma, the. So how does mother is heard? It is taken, the eardrum starts vibrating and taken in by the inner ear up to the what do you call the brain, and brain doesn't do the trick. You have to get it into your mind. So that's a complex process. I am not going to explain it today. So let's say it is taken in to the mind, just like that photocopy machine. Now you have a mental copy, metaphysical copy, not a physical one. The vibration is physical. You can see it, you can feel it. It's physical. But what you get in your head is not physical. It falls into Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vinyana. So you get the copy. So you get or ma. Now you have to have the next part, the. So what happens in your eardrum? Because of the vibration, now since the vibration dies after some time, you have a neutral eardrum again. And this neutral eardrum is again vibrated by the sound the. So mother. So then that sound wave would be again taken in and would go in a similar fashion to the mind. So you have 2 sounds, ma and the. Ma is in history. and the is in the recent history. So the ability of the mind is it can detect future, present, as well as the past. So you can remember, you can try to remember what you ate last night, what you ate in the morning. You can recall your name, because your name is in the history. It's in the metaphysical world. That's why you are able to experience your past lives as well. If it is embedded in your brain, your memory is embedded in your brain, you wouldn't be able to explain the stories of reincarnation, where the person is born again and he's explaining that I was someone like this in my before life, and I did like this, and I was killed like this and everything. When you go and see, when you cross check, you understand that it's a correct story. And how on earth the person was able to have that information in their mind, in his brain, if the brain was originally or the brand newly created in the mother's body, then that person won't be able to have that information in that brain. But it's not the case. It goes into the metaphysical world, which is, that's why with high abilities of meditation, you would be able to understand or recall your past lives, what you were doing before this life and before that life, and up until to the ability you have. So that's how it works. So it goes to the metaphysical world, and our brain acts as a transmitter to identify this. And the thing is, our brain, with our what you call immoral actions and the impurities in our mind, our ability to recall these things get reduced, very reduced. That's why the ability increases, then the purity of the mind increases. So we can recall what we heard just now, just like the present. You cannot tell the difference. Actually, what you are hearing right now is history. It's not present. You cannot experience the present because it has to go through a process. And when you identify it, what you said with from your mouth is already past. It's in the history. So it said when it has a delay. That's the correct term. So because of the delay, you cannot experience the present. You are experiencing a past world that has already dead. You are experiencing something dead. So you experience ma and the. So ma is in more so deep past, and the is in the near past. So the ability of the mind is it can detect and it can compile. So it gets ma from the deep past, and it also gets the, and they combine it together, and in your head you hear mother. So what you understand from this is Vedana or feeling is something happens at that moment. Stroking your head is also like that. Bits of stroking combines together to make you feel the full stroke. Seeing also is like that. It is said that, how do you think you see a screen full of pixels? So you detect pixel, one pixel by your mind actually does it. You only are able to understand or experience a fraction. So when that fraction is registered in your mind in the metaphysical world, you get another fraction, you see another one. But this process is very, very fast. Even the cutting edge technology does not have that kind of a fast equipment, that kind of fast equipment. So it's that fast. So that's why we see the whole thing in one go. We feel like we see the whole thing in one go, but it goes through a very speed and very complex process. In a 3D space, it is organized, minute amounts of detail is copied, and these details are seen after compilation as one. So that's Vedana. So Vedana, the fraction of Vedana, for a fraction of touch, you get a fraction of Vedana. So it says that it's like bubbles forming. So this is an example given by Supreme Buddha. So how does bubbles form? When when water is falling from a height, you can see, just like in these waterfalls and other what do you call the mini waterfalls that people create or construct in their houses. So then when the water is falling, you see bubbles form. So if you look or follow the path of one bubble, it is formed when touch happens. What you call the touch? When the water from above falls on the surface of the water surface, then that is touch. When touch occurs, you because of the turbulence that is formed on the surface of water, it creates a bubble, and this bubble moves for about few milliseconds or 1 second, and it bursts. And this process, it's just not one bubble, it's a process. So you see a beautiful scenery. So you get attached to that beautiful scenery, just like you get attached to Vedana. You're not able to feel a full Vedana, you're just experiencing minute fractions of it. And as soon as the touch is gone, the feeling is also gone. Jara Maran, death. That's what is called decay and death, ends up in decay and death. So that's true for every Vedana. For eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. For every Vedana. So you are going after something that it's like eating what do you call chewing gum, or when you're hungry. That doesn't seem to do anything. It does not reduce your hunger. So that's the part where Vedana occurs. So when you have, this is the best example you can have is this tongue and the taste. So when you eat something, what happens is it fills your belly. Because of the satisfaction that happens due to filling of the belly, you may stop. The urge to have food would go away. But that is different. So below the throat or below the pharynx is a different story, and above the pharynx is another story. So below the pharynx, it's about the reducing the deficiency of your body. Above the pharynx, it's about taste, which is a suffering or a vexation. So let's say you put a tube from the outer abdominal wall to the stomach, and you remove all the food that is being ingested by your mouth. So your stomach will never get filled. So that if that's the case, you won't have an eternal hunger. Your hunger would not be able to be treated. You won't be able to be treated with the food. Then you would be able to understand that it's just like your eyes, your body and your tongue. Your tongue is also just like your eyes. Even how much TV dramas or anything that you see to please your eyes, how much, no matter how much you watched, you won't be able to fill your eye. Just like that, when as the food is taken out by your body, from your body with a hole, you won't be able to fulfill that what do you call that, the trick. You get tricked when the belly is full. You feel like your taste can be satisfied, but you cannot. It's your body that get satisfied, not your taste. You won't be able to. It also will be like your eyes. You won't be able to satisfy it. It's insatiable. So when you take food, what happens when we are seeing through Vedana? So a small particle of food touches your taste buds. That's touch, creating feeling. And this feeling dies then and there. When the causes are gone, the result is also gone. So what you would do is, you would again create or start a process of chewing and what do you call mixing in your mouth, so that you can create more touch with food and taste buds, so that you can create more feeling. So when you attach to it, you would trap in that. You get trapped. And however much you do that, you cannot experience it for a long time, since the vexation starts to build up, and the urge to swallow would increase. Because actually what is satisfactory when having food is filling up the belly, not the taste. It's a vexation. You tend to mix these two together. So you cannot, you don't have any idea of what is doing what. It's the filling of the belly that is satisfactory, and you without knowing, you give that credit to the deliciousness of the food or the taste. But actually, if taste is satisfactory, you would be able to fulfill your complete your satisfaction just by having it in your mouth, just by mixing and creating touch by mixing and chewing. But when you do that, what happens is you increases the vexation to the point that you can't do it anymore, and you have to swallow. And you swallow, and then you feel good up until the belly is full to its normal amount. And so that's Vedana. So that's right for eyes as well. Even you are seeing something, that's how you are able to see a movie. When one image is gone, it moves in a 50 hertz, or I don't know what the refresh rate is now. So the images, number of images moving in a unit time is so high that you see that them as moving images. That's how movies are created, moving images. So actually they are images. So one image should go, and one image should be photocopied into your mind to the metaphysical world for the other image to the next image to come. So when that happens, when the next image comes, so it also becomes history, and the next one comes, and when you detect it from past to the present, you see a movie, you see what's happening. But it doesn't have something valuable in it. It's just a fraction of touch creating a fraction of feeling. So that's another way of seeing this delusional way of thinking, or opening up this, or the revealing the delusional thought process. So that's Vedana. And there's Vedananupassana. That's Vedananupassana. And then there's what do you call Chittanupassana. So in Chitta means the mind. You are focusing on your mind, solely on your mind. So when you are focusing on your mind, you see this is a raga, thought of raga. This is a thought of dvesha. This is a thought of moha. This is a thought devoid of raga, devoid of dvesha, devoid of moha. This is a kusala chitta, or a mind, a meritorious mind. This is a sinful mind. You'd be able to see these minds when you try to focus on it. You try to see, when you try to when you practice this way of seeing through your mind. So when you do that, eventually you develop a samadhi where you would be able to detect when bad, sinful thoughts occur, and you would remove those thoughts, and you would encourage the thoughts that are aligning with Dhamma. So that's basically the Chittanupassana. So Chittanupassana is also used at some points, especially about the when you're dealing with your mind. It's easy at some points. It's easy to use Chittanupassana other than Vedananupassana or Kayanupassana. It differs. It differs on person to person, as well as differs according to the situation. So then the last one is Dhammanupassana. So Dhamma. So there are various ways that we can see this world. We can see as ayatana, or we call ayatana. We can see the world as external and internal 12 organs. So external organs are eyes, or images, sounds, touches, or taste, smell, and thoughts. So internal organs are eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. So these are the 12 ayatana. So this is how we see the world. So this is a different classification. So we can see that as anicca, dukkha, anatta, and nibbana as the bliss. And we can also divide this world into rupa, vedana, sanya, sankhara, vijnana, because eventually it's our mind that is experiencing this world. It's our mind that takes in the inputs and processes it and understands. So in that point of view, we can divide the world into Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, and Vijnana. So, whatever the method you use, you are using Dhamma, and you are referring to, and you are meditating Dhamma, and you are seeing in the perspective or the with the eyes of Dhamma, and you are doing your work, your day-to-day work, your day-to-day activities, and you are doing it with this kind of a mindset, or you are wearing different kind of glasses today, and when you are seeing with these glasses, you are seeing a different world, and these are the glasses of wisdom, glasses of Dhamma. So you use it, and you are seeing the world with a new idea, a new perception of the world. So, then you would be able to identify these are Kamma, Chanda, Vyapa, Dina, Middha, Uddhacca, Uddhacca, Vicikiccha, which are 5 Nivaranas. Nivarana means the things that cover up the Nibbana pathway. So, if you have Raga, and when the Raga increases to Kamma, Chanda, where it becomes a sinful act. So, the Raga is so high, you feel like having it to yourself only, and destroying the others' privilege to have them. So you have a car, and you feel like the other person's, or you don't have a car, and the person next door is having a car. You feel like I should have this car, and this person should not, kind of a feeling. So that's a very pathological when it comes to that. So that's Kamma, Chanda, and the attachment is so high, you would do anything. Even you would not hesitate killing, hurting, stealing to obtain and to continue obtaining that object. So that's Kamma, Chanda, and then the Kamma, Chanda is there. Then there's Vyapada, or the next part, or the second mind that comes when you are not able to hold on to these things comes, and that is also very very menacing, very vicious. Vyapada. Tina Middha means the attachment to some place, and you are not able to get rid of that. So it's just like moha. When the moha is more, that we explain that analogy where you fall from a sky, fall from the sky, and when you hold on to something, when there's darkness all over the place, you would not let go until when the sun rises up in the next morning, you see that there's only 1 feet to the ground, and you just have to let go, and you would be safe. But since there's darkness, you just bind to whatever you think that is good, and that's delusional, and that is Dina Middha. You'd not let go. You're not attached to it because you like it. You are not attached to the tree branch of that tree because you like the tree of the branch, the branch of the tree. You are just attached to it because of not knowing what the real situation is. So that's you're attaching. So that also becomes very sinful when you do that, because you do anything to hold on to that. Tina Middha. And Uddhacca Kukucha means because of your superiority complex, when something happens, when someone challenges that superiority complex, challenges that ego, you do anything, any bad thing, sinful thing, to get revenge and to get to maintain that status. And Vicikiccha is the what do you call not knowing the reality. And because of that, not knowing, you don't know what is right and what is wrong. You always become baffled, and you always become what you call lost, unable to identify what is right and what is wrong, which will lead to corrupted or what do you call unethical things, corrupted things, because that person does not have the right sound mind at that moment, especially a person who does not understand Dhamma. So when that kind of a mind occurs in your when that kind of thoughts occurs in your mind, you would be able to understand that this is Kamachanda and I should get rid of that. That is Dhammanupassana. So you are seeing from the perspective of Dhamma. That's what Dhammanupassana is. So those are the 4 parts. So now we can actually use Kayanupassana for mind as well. So I did not explain it when I was explaining Kayanupassana before. So what happens with Kayanupassana, and we can explain, we can get a more clear idea about Vedananupassana as well. When we know how mind works. So it works in a different, it's a process actually. So if I tell you the Pali terms, it goes like this. Chitta mano manasang hadayang pannarang mano manayatanang mani indriyang vinyanak kandu. It has 9 steps. 9 steps in when the mind is being created. So initially what happens is chitta. Chitta is a very simple state where a fraction of touch gives a fraction of feeling. That's everything when it comes to chitta. So it's just like 6 rivers falling, 6 rivers moving towards ocean. So there are no stops, there are no holes. It just moves towards ocean without any disturbance. So it's something like that. You have 6 rivers: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. So this, you constantly see images and they just move. See, you'd have this experience when you are focusing on something else, when you are thinking about, let's say you have a very big issue or a problem in your mind and you are trying to solve that, and you are very dedicated to that, and you are sitting in front of your lawn or you are in your garden, and you see you have a very busy environment, or you are in a big city, and you see vehicles moving, people moving, everyone talking, and it's a very busy, hectic environment. But you would not recognize that. But you feel that your eyes are just seeing that scenery, but you are not focused. It just moves, it just goes. It's just like a river falling. So that's when that happens. So there's a fundamental thing that you need to understand, that when it comes to mind, only one thought can be processed at a time. You cannot take all the 6 or the inputs from all the 6 organs at the same time and process. It's just, if you are getting inputs from eye at this moment, you cannot have anything from the other organs in that same exact moment. But we feel like we are experiencing everything at the same moment. We are just hearing this and you are seeing it, and you can feel the touch of the chair that you are sitting on, and you would be able to taste anything you would be having right now. while doing the other things, but that happens because of the speed of the mind. That is very, very, what you call efficient organ. Mind is a very, very efficient organ. It works in very high speed. So we feel like everything is happening at the same time, but it's in reality, it's only one process at a time. So that now, if we go back to the original explanation, chitta is that. Chitta is, these are the, it's just like, for a fraction of touch, you get a fraction of feeling. So now comes now it becomes complex. Little by little, it gets complex. So next thing is chitta, then mano. So mano means measuring. So now you have to measure. So what do you measure? So for a measuring to happen, you should have, you cannot measure fractions. You should have something complete. So let's take that example again, mother. So ma and the, when you have two, you can, so the river is when it comes to chitta, ma, the fraction of sound, which is ma, is taken up by the mind, and it has its copy, and it moves through the river. And river, we can say it's the river of time, and these items move in the river of time towards the infinity, and you can always recall it because that's the ability of the mind. And ma went to history, and then again that happens. The also comes, mother. So the also went to history. So it's moving towards the past. And again, if anything else was said, then they also goes in this river-like pattern. So when what happens when it comes to mano is you measure these ma and the, and you have it now as a combined sound. But it was happened not outside, but it happened inside the mind, not outside. So you have the combined sound mother, but you just have a sound mother. So let's say somebody who does not understand English was also can understand, can hear this sound mother. And if someone asked what in his language, where he does not know English, if he was asked what that person who was talking in English said, that the person who did not understand English would say he sounded like something like mother. And after that, beyond that, he would be clueless. So what happens after mano is manasang. For manasang to happen, what happens in manasang is we compare this sound with our past experience. So if you have mother in your registry, you would immediately identify this is mother, and everything you have in regarding to mother, or the sound mother, your mother, and then the term mother, and what mother has done to you, and everything will be opened because you mana sang. Sang means getting attached. So it has this meaning also. So in other samma, we explain samma. For samma, it's the meaning for sang is very it's a different one, and here it's another. It actually has the meaning of where attaches. So it should get attached with the history. So that's what it is. That's why it is called sang, mana sang. So the meanings are different. That's what I wanted to emphasize. So mana sang. So up to this point, even an arihat would have, even an arihat would be able to identify the person, identify his ball, and go for an arms, looking for arms, he also should be able to do a sermon for the disciples. He has, for that he should move from the state of chitta to mano to manasang to identify the person, identify what he's saying, and deliver the correct answer. So that's what we need to survive in this world. Without that, even without that, we won't be able to function in this world. So chitta, mano, and manasang. So after manasang, there's hadayang. Then all the problems starts with hadayang. Hadayang means, so that's the Sinhala term or the Pali term for hadayang is, if I translate it to English, it's something like attachment and something like love. So you get attached, you find it dear, you find it very pleasing. So that then only the problem happens. So that then the role of avidya starts playing. So that's why before that there's no role of avidya. That's why even Arihat would have that kind of a mindset up to manasang. So after manasang, then hadaya. So you get attached. When you see your child, you get attached. You just saw fractions of light initially, and that was like a river of time that has pieces of what do you call pieces of fractions of images that's going towards history, and you combine it and you saw this total image, which is the image of your child, and but you still don't understand or identify the person. And when you go to manasang, what happens is you compare it with your directory or registry, and you identify that this is your child. And even an arihat who had a child before becoming a monk or before becoming arihat would even recognize that this is my child who was born few years back when I was a lay person. So he also would be able to understand that. But after that, hadayang won't happen. So because he had practiced chittanupassana, kahanupassana, vedanupassana, and dhammanupassana and fulfilled the pathway. So now what he's seeing is he's seeing the object as it is. Nothing is added. No delusional value is added. But when that is added, then hadayang. Hadayang creates pandarang. The next one is pandarang. So what happens with pandarang is you now the power given to that kind of a mind is increased. That's what pandarang is. So now you have got attached. Now everything else is irrelevant. Now you are focused on this image of your child. So you forget about your other organs. You forget about the other things that you are seeing, and this specific item is highlighted, and spotlights falls on that item. So hadaya and pandarang. So pandarang, that intensifies the idea. The meaning is like intensify. So when that happens, then the next thing is hadayang, pandarang, mano, manayatana. So it has two parts. Mano is one thing. Mana ayatana is another thing. Mano means the second part, which is chitta mano, the original image, which wasn't identified. Mano. Mana ayatanang means now the mind is the function of the mind is changed by the action of avidya, so that it becomes vexatious for that item. So I don't know whether you would understand the idea. So it's like something like your avidya. When you give value to something, the vexation starts then and there. So that's why it says you have Nitya Sukha Atta Subha, or you have avidya. When you have avidya, you give that you want to have things which have value. You don't want to get parted with things which have value. So when that is the case, but actually what's happening is constantly these are getting to Jara Marana, where they get distracted or decayed and destroyed at the end. So you would constantly get disappointed, and you would constantly want to hold on to that valuable thing which always gets distracted. So that creates a vexation. So that's what happens. So your mind becomes a vexatious mind, looking for that specific item. And then what you created or what you gathered from mano, or the basic image of your child, would be given to that vexatious mind. Now the vexatious mind is receiving a neutral image. But that vexatious mind has a craving for that image. So mano manayatanang, when they collide together, mano is the second state and manayatana is the altered mind, which is altered by avidya, the altered mind, vexatious mind, receives this image. He feels something which is not real. Mano manayatana. Mani indriyam, vijnana. So mani indriyam means it becomes the indriya means it becomes the isolated organ now. The every attention is to this process now. Now everything other than that is cut off, something like that. So mani indriyam, it becomes the principal organ. So vijnana, you feel a corrupted feeling. That's what happens. Vijnana means a corrupted feeling. And vijnana kando, that's the last part. Vijnana kando means you have these kinds of corrupted experiences or feelings from present, past, and future. And you have everything tucked up together, or everything compiled together. So you have a big vijnana kanda. Kanda means a compilation, something like that. So this is the process. But what you need to understand from this process, what you had in the outside world was just fractions of sounds, just fractions of light rays, or fractions of images, we can say, fractions of smells, various kinds of smells put together to create something, fractions of tastes, various kinds of tastes or things put together to create a delicious dish, fractions of touch. You cannot have, you are experiencing it in fractions. So what you could experience, or what is outside, really outside the world, are that to make it more easier, we can say it's a word full of data. It's just data. You haven't processed it. It's just data outside, in the outside world. But what your mind does is they extract this data and they create mano and give conclusions based on your past vijnana kanda, where you decided that your child is very valuable, and you assign that to this image that you are seeing right now. And as soon as that was done, initially what you see is your child. Then when hadayang happens, what is done is you get that delusional registered vijnana as well. Then when that is applied here, then a vexatious mind occurs, and that second image is given to that vexatious mind, or you recall. You can, even if you close your eyes after seeing something for 1 or 2 seconds, you can recall. So that's what happens at mano manayatana. So when that happens, you get a corrupted sense of feeling, which is vijnana. And you enjoy it because it's corrupted, but it's enjoyable, and that's what keeps on creating this sansara. And you have those kinds of things that you did in the past, present, and you will do even you will do that in the future as well, and you have futuristic ideas as well, vijnana. So when you think about it, it's data, just data in the outside, but you created a whole salad out of it from the things that you have in the outside world, and you created a whole new dish, and now you are eating that dish in your head. You created it in your head, and you are eating it. Let's say it's a pudding. So you created a pudding in your mind, and you are eating the pudding in your mind, and you are tricked that the pudding is in the outside world, and you are looking after for things, for objects, for everything, and you are running after the outside objects, looking for these things that was created actually in your mind and not in the outside world. So that's the idea of this the story of the mind. So that's what you need to understand. It's something, when you understand that, the idea, or what you would realize is it's just not worth it, or it's just essenceless. So that's again anatta. So through this you can develop the quality of anatta. So that's also a pathway to nibbana. So this is what I wanted to explain today. I think it's a bit technical. I was being a bit technical today, and we used a lot of jargon. And I think I was able to explain it to you to some extent. If you have any questions, and we will be able, if you can ask those questions, we will be able to fill up the gaps that we have.
Thank you very much, Thero, for taking the time to explain these valuable concepts. As you said, we'll ask the audience who are with us to ask any questions. Feel free to either send it on the chat box or go ahead and ask directly. There is a question coming from Ms. Kim on the text. I will try and see if I can read that. It says long time. One moment.
So sorry, there was a typo.
I see. No problem. I'm assuming you will be resending the message shortly. Yes, I'll read it out. First and foremost, thank you very much. after this is in connection to a previous sermon, I believe.
I think about the book which I
Yes.
sent to the group.
That's right. Thank you
yeah.
so much. Next time I will organize my question and ask you, can I?
Yeah, it's okay. Whether
Yeah.
it's the next time or this time, you can ask if you have any question at any time during the discussion. And if from today's explanation, if you have any clarification, more, if you have any parts that were unclear or need to be clarified, anybody can ask.
Thank you so much. And I have one more question, but I think it's irrespect. It's indifferent to this sermon, but I have one more. I have one question. Can I ask?
Yeah, sure. It doesn't have to be from this one as well. It is not compulsory to be from this sermon. You can ask anything with regard to Dhamma.
Thank you.
I believe yes, I believe your question is on the chat. It says, is Kamma Vipaka a component of Hetu? A part of Hetu.
Yeah, right.
A
Yes.
component of Hetu. So Kamma Vipaka, actually everything is because of Hetu or causes. If we believe otherwise, then everything, even the science, we are contradicting the normal, the simple scientific explanations as well. Because in science also, they are also trying to find the causes for even in the medicine, even in the medical sciences. What they are trying to do is they are trying to find the causes for this disease. They never believe that there's a thing that or a disease that occurs without any causes. That can happen. They sometimes say that this has a idiopathic origin, but by that what they say is they don't know what is the cause. Not that they believe that there's no cause and this is just happening out of nowhere. But when it comes to Kamma Vipaka as well, it's the same thing. So what are the hetu? Or what are the reasons that create Vipaka? So Vipaka we can divide into white and black, or we can say good and bad. So for good Vipaka to occur, so for actually for a Vipaka, so when it comes to an Arihat, that he does not create hetu for any more Vipaka. What he is experiencing is the Vipaka or he's experiencing what he has already created. So he has created good and bad in the history or in the past. In the past, before becoming an Arihat, he has created various kinds of things out of avidya. He created by processing or by sankhara. We can divide into kaya sankhara, vachi sankhara, and mano sankhara. Thoughts, words, and actions. By using these three, created this energy which is actually gathered or accumulated in the metaphysical world. That is the karma bhava, which we discussed before. So they get deposited in the karma bhava, and eventually it's like actually putting a seed into the soil. So when you put a seed into the soil, and if you have avidya trishna, which is the water and the other factors that are needed to create that or the plant to become a tree, then it would slowly start growing into a tree. And that is how Vipaka comes back to us. So when we have Vipaka, when we have created causes, so even for an Arihat, he would be experiencing those good as well as bad outcomes of the causes that he had created in the past. But no matter what happens, even if the life was taken, he would never create new causes for a new world, or new Kamma Vipaka would not be created. So that's the part. That's the idea when it comes to that. That's the truth when it comes to a Arihat. For us, what happens is we also, since we have still did not got completely removed avidya from our existence. So what happens with us is we also create. We also does things, actions. We do. We think. We use our words, and we use our body, and so we create these kinds of what do you call energy, which will be again deposited in the karma bhava, which is a metaphysical area. So when that happens, when that is when that is born, that would eventually at some point in the samsara, it would eventually come back and would be seen as a image, heard as a sound, a smell, taste, or a touch, or a thought. So there are images that we like and that we don't like, harsh images and very pleasant ones, and also harsh sounds, even a scolding of somebody, and good sound, even a praising of somebody. Likewise, these two categories, this external world can be divided into three parts. So things we like, things we don't like, and things we don't care whether it's there or not. So it's neutral. So for good things to come to our life, you have created good causes, good rational things, helping to others, doing good to others, and giving to others, and using very kind and caring words, and also like things like that. So even while we are hearing this aspect of the actions we do, we feel like that they are very good, they are very very kind and pleasant, and it's very whitish. So the state or the type of the nature of these kinds of actions are, they are very very calm and quiet and very white kind of actions. So there are another way, very dark, black kind of the actions that we do during this sansaric journey. So those are hurting, stealing, robbing, and doing very various kinds of unethical things, slandering, and those are the basically 10 immoral actions. When we do that, that creates another or a dark kind of energy, also will get deposited in the karma bhava, which is a metaphysical area. So they also would get after some time or during this sansaric stay, they also would come as images, sounds, touch, sounds, then tastes, smells, touches, and thoughts. So that would be the dark area, and that would be the things that we don't like. So when we experience things that we don't like, we would have to be very very considerate about it, because it's what we have created. There's nothing we can do. The most of the time what happens is when those kinds of dark or bad things happen to you, you again try to do the bad thing to get rid of that. When someone scolds you, what you do is you scold that person again back on them, and you create that energy again. So that's why this becomes a loop, and you would never be able to get rid of it anyway. So that's why it is said that the four hells are the what do you call the resting places of the living beings. they always like to go to the four hills because they always answer or take the wrong decision and act in a wrong way for when something bad happens to them. When someone scolds them, when someone hits you, what you do is you hit them back, and you did not see the connection that this bad outcome is a reason, is actually a result, and the cause is because I have hit somebody in the past, and that has created very bad outcome in this life. It is said that according to Dhamma, that at this instance you are being subjected to the what do you call the criminal act. You are being subjected. You are the one who is getting actually what do you call you are the one who is getting violated right now. You feel like that because you are the one who is being scolded. You are the one who is being physically assaulted. But it is actually you are the one who is winning, and the other person is the one who is losing, because he is creating energy for him to continue on a bad pathway in samsara, where we have a lot of consequences, where that person would be very, very sad and upset during his stay in the samsaric journey because of what he is doing right now. If it's happening to somebody who is have understanding about Dhamma or a Arya person, then that person is doomed for a very long period of time, because when there's good qualities, when that happens to a person with good qualities, good understanding, and a person who is who does not do any harm to other people, then the consequences are more. So that's how it works. So when the act of violation happens to you, it's not it's not you who got violated, actually it's the other person. You won because you were able to get rid of what you did in the past. So that's how it works. That's how the loop occurs. That's how this infinite samsara starts occurring. So because of our actions, because of our avidya, because of our wrong ideas. So I think I don't know whether it gives the answer for your question. I think there's in the book also there's a part where we talk about anatta, where the I tried to explain about the this Paticcasamuppada chakra or Paticcasamuppada cycle, and in that also it says how this karmic energy and starts the chakra again and again, and it goes in a loop, how it goes in a loop.
We have another question.
No, I think it's a
yes.
It's a statement.
It's a statement, yes, correct. So thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. If there are any last question to take, a sort of over 2 hours discussion. If there's any further questions, we'll take the last one, Thero, and maybe then conclude with a small anumodana.
If anyone has any question, yes, we can have another one.
Sure. So please feel free if you have any questions to ask, and Thero will take it up.
Actually, I think we can talk about metta, because these are very practical things when it comes to practicing Dhamma. We have to have metta, and we have to know what is metta, and it would be a great help for the for for what you said also. So when you have conflicts with anybody, what you have to have is metta. So metta is, so now we saw an aspect of metta with the before discussion we had just before. So what you're seeing is actually what happens in that incident where someone is scolding you, someone is hurting you, some bad experience is giving, someone is giving you a bad experience. What is actually happening is you have created causes for that instance to happen. So that person becomes a, what you call a bait for your wrongdoings. So you have created causes for you to get scolded, for you to get hit, or for you to get violated. And that person who is full of avidya, when according to this, how the world works, when a thought strikes his mind, if he does not have any idea what is right and what is wrong and what should be done and what should not be done, that person will immediately take that idea and execute it. That's how it happens. Let's say you are going on a road and you see that you see a person you have never seen him in your life, and you feel like hitting that person, and you feel like this person, I don't like this person's attitude, I don't like how he's walking, I feel like hitting that person. Sometimes that kind of things happen. So that, how does that happen? So that person has created some bad things in the past, and it is trying to what do you call, that bad energy is trying to get neutralized through our pathway. So that's why our mind is getting things like that. So if we don't like hitting people, if we don't enjoy hitting people, hurting people, we would think like, what am I thinking? This is a person that I don't know, an innocent person who is walking by the street. I don't want to think like this. I would change my thinking process and I would do something else. And Arya would say, I think that I should do metta, or thoughts of metta, spread thoughts of metta to him. I should not execute these kinds of wrong thoughts. So that's what the person would realize at that point. But when someone is full of avidya and doesn't know what is right, what is wrong, and who enjoys doing sinful activities, that person would take that idea which comes to his mind and execute it with much force, creating more and more bad energies, which will eventually, he's actually digging his own grave. And because of what? Because of what you have done in the past. So what happens in your mind, or what happens in your heart is, you actually feel empathetic about this person. He's very innocent, doesn't know what is right and what is wrong, lost in this world. He's digging his own grave by hitting me, hurting me. So I should be very considerate about this person and should not try to hurt him back, and try to spread this thoughts of metta, where you think that for this person, I have been like this person in the past and created these kinds of bad energies which comes back to me like this, and this person also got violated today because of this dreadfulness of the samsara, and may I and everyone else be able to attain supreme bliss of nibbana and to get rid of this sansaric journey or sansaric looping. So that would be your metta, thoughts of metta to that person, and that would be very and even if you got hit, since you have no hatred toward that person, you would be very what do you call, in your mind, maybe you would have physical pain because of the assault, But in your mind, you would be very, very happy, and you would be very, very calm and quiet, and that physical pain would go in few days' time. But if you have created a mess out of it, you had hit that person and tried to put that person in jail and do everything that is possible, that would go on, that wound would go on for about few years, even for few lives, because you are creating new energy with that person, and that what you call the transaction would go on. That person would start doing something, and you would do something, and this would go on for a good amount of time, or in sansar, even for few lifetimes, even for few eons. It's something like that. When the mind is healed, your bodily aches and pains would go away in few days. And since you did not have a wound in your mind from the beginning, you would be very, very happy. So that's how you solve problems with metta.
Thank you very much, Thero. I think that was a very good addition to what we've discussed today, and for us to take things forward. Unless there are any other questions that are there from the audience, please feel free to ask. If not, we will conclude today's session with a short anumodan. Thero, shall we then move to the anumodana? I think there are no questions at the moment.
Okay, today everybody gathered in this evening to understand what is right and what is wrong, and to complete the supreme bliss, supreme pathway to Nibbana, the Aryattangika Magga, attaining the supreme bliss of Nibbana. So everyone today did Sankara, or Mano Sankara, Kaya Sankara, and Vachi Sankara, created huge sums of energy which are immeasurable, which would ultimately complete your pathway. And these are creating forces, just like we explained. These are creating forces for you to have more and more encounters with Dhamma, encounters with the reality, more and more noble friends, where you can get more and more inputs. So eventually these meritorious energy would drag you to Nibbana, would help you to end this infinite samsara. Since it's infinite, something which changes that nature, something which reduces the infinite nature to a finite number, would be infinite in value, because infinity is value. You cannot see a limit. So something which has no limit is limited. If that is a force, and then that is a limitless force. So you are actually experiencing that limitless force, and you are trying to complete that pathway. And may all the meritorious power that was generated today help you to remove all the hindrances and barriers that cover up the pathway to Nibbana or Aryattangiko Maggo, and may everyone be able to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Accept this blessing with the sadhukar.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.
And also all the dead relatives, because of them only we are able to lead a happy and good life. Because of our mothers and fathers only we are able to continue living on this world, because they are the ones who helped us, who treated us, fed us, and they are the ones who gave us a physical body that we can use to understand this Dhamma. So let's remind them and all the dead relatives that helped us in the pathway, and also people who helped us, who helped to understand Dhamma, and also helped us in life in general, and the people who were hurted by us without knowing, the people who got who have fallen into our injustice, and also the deities of 6 realms and 20 planes of Brahma, and also the beings, almost all the sentient beings living in the universe. May they receive these huge sums of immeasurable merits which were generated from listening to and preaching Dhamma, and may they get rid of those sinful actions, sinful things that they do, and may they receive this meritorious power. May they attain, may they remove those sinful actions. May they perform meritorious deeds. May they get rid of 10 immoral actions, and may they be happy about these meritorious deeds, being delightful about what we did today, and may they receive this meritorious power, and let us transfer this meritorious power to them with the sadhukara.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So, Abhivadan Silisa, Changwadapchayano, Chatharo Dhamma Vadanti, Ayuano Sukambala, Ayurarogi Sampati, Saga Sampati Mivicha, Atuni Pan Sampati, Minati, Samichatu Supati.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.
We would like to thank Venerable Dhammadassi Thero for taking his valuable time to preach the Dhamma, answer our questions, and help us in our path to Nibbana. Let's say 3 times Sadhukara and give our thanks to Thero. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.
And thank you very much for those who asked questions and participated with us today. Hopefully, we will be also able to continue our sessions next week as well. With that, we finish for the day. Theruvan Saranai to everyone. Theruvan Saranai.
Theruvan Saranai. May everyone attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.